Hello, my friend. How would life feel for you if instead of needing to think about, visualize, and manifest the things you wanted, you could live in a way of life, a way of being, in which you naturally take movements towards your well-being without necessarily needing to try and focus on all the intricate details of what to call into your life? If you've joined this video conversation and you decide to stick around, we are about to go through some perspectives to help you remember some of the ways that you can live in reality and have experiences that you find deeply satisfying without needing to try and figure out what they are first. Because in my own experience of reality, one of my biggest, you could say, barriers to entry of living the experiences that I most wanted was trying to figure out what I wanted. See, a big key towards calling most of what it is that we want into reality, into existence, is knowing what we want and then placing our focus on it, and not just our thought focus, but the aligned actions, deeds, the subconscious and conscious thoughts on it. Now, when we don't know what we want, we sometimes sit in a state of pause. Sometimes we don't know what we want because the mind may be having a challenge conceptualizing what it is you actually want to experience, because maybe the mind, up until this point, hasn't experienced anything that excites you yet. Because as I've mentioned before in other videos, the mind can only perceive where it's been. Even if it's projecting ideas into the future, it is always pulling from a Lego bin based on what you have provided it in experiences up until this point. Now, those experiences can be enhanced by things like reading books or watching movies, connecting with mentors or groups or masterminds, friends, personal experiences you have. Sometimes they can be enhanced through meditation or deep journeys. Some people even go on deep psychedelic journeys. Now, I'm not suggesting that you need to do any of these things. These are just some of the ways people expand the kit the mind has to work with. Now, that being said, I find that you don't need to rely on the mind to think up your future for you. What I have found is, in my own life, and some other teachers talk about this as well. There are others who have spoken on things like this. But what I found in my own life is when there is a trajectory in my life, when there's something that I'd like to focus on, but I don't quite know for certain what my favorite outcome will be, right? Like, I know I want to go a certain direction, or I want to live a passion, but nothing's sounding particularly that good. Then here is one of the ways that I've gone about it in my life. And if it sounds inspiring to you, you can test this out for yourself as well. So, before I dive in, I'm Danielle, and I help empowered beings such as yourself navigate and live the reality that you most feel inspired to live. Now, from my personal perspective, I'm not here to judge what anyone wants to live or not. I have my own personal preferences on what I enjoy and what I experience. And from my own experience, I like to work in the field that is anchored in love. Now, that being said, I perceive that when each of us are operating from a space of living as who we truly are, some really beautiful and incredible things can happen in our world. Because this world experience we have is essentially created by vote. And I don't just mean the vote as in the electoral systems we have. I mean the vote with how each of us is consciously and unconsciously focusing our energy and our attention. So you here who is watching this video, I'm excited. Because if you're watching this video, and especially to this point, because if you've gotten to this point, You are someone that has that spark of inspiration, that is choosing to be a more conscious and deliberate creator. And from my perspective, that you are an empowered and powerful being. Because every single one of us who chooses to add to that amplified focus, every single one of us who chooses to add to that amplified focus by operating from our unique systems of empowerment and then realizing we're making choice and then making that choice, starts to add to a world that is, you could say, based in freedom, based in remembering, based in empowerment. And then it allows us individually and collectively to collaborate together. But perhaps I get ahead of myself. Let's focus on the matter at hand, right here and right now. So, as we were mentioning, I was about to get to the juicy stuff. When I want to focus on something that I don't know that I would really like, what I do is I tune in. And by tune in, I mean, like, you can close your eyes, you can meditate, you can do whatever it is that you think is going to be really beneficial for you to get into a focused state. For me, I like to meditate. Maybe you like to walk, maybe you like to shower, maybe you do art, whatever it is. And when I'm doing this, what I like to do is I like to breathe in and out a few times. And if you like, while we're doing this video, we can do it right here, right now. So we breathe in, and I like to breathe in through my nose. And as you draw the air in, you can feel it fill your body out through the mouth. And the air, it always knows where to go, and then in through the nose. I always find with each consecutive breath that we take consciously, you almost feel deeper and deeper parts of your body. Air has prana, mana, life force in it, however you want to look at it. You're filling this body up, you're activating it, lighting it up with the energy that's really helpful for what we're about to do next. So as you continue with these breaths in and out, what you might notice is if there's any areas in the energy of your body that, feel like they've been in one location. Oh, a lot of us, we sometimes hang out in our minds or in the head. It's a common one. You can breathe in and let go. And then another one is sometimes we feel clenchy in the shoulders, or we feel that in our belly. And, we can just breathe into those places. It's easy peasy. And remember, if this is feeling good to you, wonderful. And if it's not your jam, you can stop at any time. This is how powerful you are. You have the choice and the ability to do what you choose to do at any given time. Was any point time. Breathe in. And then on the exhale here, as much as you feel willing to unclench, just really, for me, this feels really good in the body. And, you can keep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you might notice that your body feels a bit tingly, or it feels a bit clear. And if not, that's quite all right. However you feel at this moment is very appropriate. This is something that I like to remember. How you are feeling in the moment is very appropriate. And so as you're breathing in and out, what you can do is start to engage now your imagination. But here's the thing. As you're inviting yourself to engage your imagination, what we're doing is we're doing so from the place where you feel the most empowered from where you are at now. Now, I understand you may have a lot going on in your life, and there may be a lot of different feelings you have. And especially if you have had things that you've been wanting to experience in your life for a long time, but you haven't quite seen them show up in your reality the way you want. I know for some of us that can feel really discouraging. And so let's go ahead and breathe that one in and just acknowledge that we sometimes feel that way. And then for others of us, oh man, maybe you're riding high and you just got all these amazing feelings and you've been going like wave after wave after wave. And I love that. I love that for us. Let's breathe in. Awesome. And then out. And wherever you're at again, now, what you're inviting yourself to do is from my most empowered place. And see, here I'm pointing to my heart, and it's also in our gut. My hands down here on my gut and on my heart. So it's from my most empowered places. I am here. I am ready, and I am now to live my most audacious dream, to live my most audacious version of my reality here and now. And you can swap out audacious for what suits you. My most satisfying journey, my most calming journey, my most curious, my most interesting, my most refreshing, my most empowered. Whatever word resonates with you. And as you start to feel that, and you feel the quality of the word that you're invoking, you're feeling it in your heart and in your gut, and start to remember experiences that resonate with that heart and gut feeling of the word you chose. And as you're remembering it, you're pulling it up in this very powerful projector mind, this projector that you have it's built right in. It's like, comes standard. And as you're envisioning that, and you're drawing in your breath, go ahead and start feeling playful with it. You can feel how it feels to be that word. Now start to imagine, be audacious with yourself, and start to imagine what you would truly like to experience. Now, don't worry if you're not sure if this is the right thing for you, because in a moment, I'm going to tell you something that's going to maybe be a little surprising, but go ahead, go all in. Start to imagine this thing, whatever it is. If it's a person, a relationship, imagine how it is and feel it. Feel how good it feels in its most exalted form. If it's a job, if it's a way your business forms, if it's a business, if it's a house, whatever it is, feel that feeling and notice it in your body. And as much as possible, be in that feeling state. Now, as you're doing it, I invite you to notice here and now you are feeling that. It's not in the future. Right now you are feeling it. And as you're feeling it, you can give yourself a moment to smile, celebrate you're feeling it. And I invite you to say, yes, this, while you're focusing on the feeling. All right. Now, you got your biggest vision. You got it. You ready for the next step? All right. 3, 2, 1. Drop it. Completely drop that vision from your mind's eye. Shake it out if you like. Here's the thing. What you've done is if you've attuned yourself to the state that this mental image gives you. The fascinating thing about reality creation and attuning to your inner navigation system is, again, a lot of this is coming from your mind's eye and where it thinks it needs to lead you to get to where you need to go. But you see, sometimes there's more satisfying paths. There's more satisfying experiences. There's what we don't know, what we don't know, what we don't know. But we do know from a more expanded point of view. And by creating this, by tuning into how it feels in our body, what we've just done is we've adjusted, we've given the scent to the dog, so to speak. We've adjusted the GPS. We have tuned in. We said, this is what I'm aiming for. And whether or not it comes through in the version of the vision you imagined, what's happening is you can now attune and navigate through the choices coming in your life based on whether or not your body or your inner guidance system that is attuned to it is letting you know whether it's a yes or no. Because I'm going to amend that last statement. I feel it in my body, but not everyone needs to feel it in their body. Not everyone needs to feel it in your body. Some of us may have different ways of sensing and navigating. And you'll know what it is. I imagine you may already have a sense of what it is if you're not already deeply familiar with it. And so, with that right there is one of the ways that you can navigate to what you most want. That way you can, and see, it's not even really a navigation, because navigation implies time and space. And we're using that word, but really, from my perspective, everything simultaneously exists in the moment. And what we are really doing is we are allowing ourselves to relax enough to be in the state where we naturally synchronize with the experiences we already want. Now, here's where practical steps come in. As you are attuning and committing to this state, and it's not about pretending to be happy when you're not. It's about knowing that this state that's natural to you, knowing that you get the instructions and the breadcrumbs moment to moment on what to do now as that state is coming into reality. Because for many of us, for many people who are being human beings, if you were to instantaneously snap into that state, for some belief systems, that might be very challenging for the mind to juggle. I am not saying it's impossible. I am not saying that it needs to be hard or challenging. I'm simply stating that from my observed experience, what's helpful for the mind to be able to synchronize with what you have decided to be is a combination of you committing to that resonance pattern that you just attuned to, while also listening to the steps that appear and then taking daily iterative steps to line it up. For example, when I knew that I was creating this channel, when I knew that I was sharing these videos, I had these understandings of people watching it. And so once I simply chose, I'm like, I am now creating these videos. I am now being a YouTube creator. I am this. I simply created consistently. And it didn't matter if only 50 people, 10 people, one person was watching, or 10,000 people, 100,000 people, 1 million people. This is. The rest is the details. And when you apply that level of this is to your choice, it connecting with you and you connecting with it in your reality is inevitable, and everything else is the details. If there's one last piece to offer here, it's when we drop the vision, we're also dropping the attachment to the outcome, which I know seems like a paradox. But the more importance and attachment we place on things externally, the more we are saying at some level, I don't have it, I need it, and it's a big deal to me to have it. Which is a different state of being than if something is known and normal to you. This may be something to chew on for a little bit. In all cases, I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to pause and contemplate what we have just experienced together. If you have any questions, comments, if you've decided to apply this practice in your life, please do let us know in the comments. As you know, I always love hearing from you. And we all benefit from what you share as well, because we are in this navigational experience together. I also have links in the description if you would like to explore further resources or explorations. And as always, it's been an honor and pleasure to speak with you, and I look forward to our next conversation. Talk more soon.